Hey guys, I am back with an update to my faith journey as promised. And the last update that I provided was on this past Tuesday. And that was a struggle update, okay, y'all? I was totally in my feelings. I was in my feelings because being someone that is a giver at heart, like I love to give, I love to be a blessing to other people in whatever capacity. So whether that is praying for them, whether that's giving them words of encouragement, advice, whether that is opening my doors, whether that's being a resource or whatever that looks like that's what I love. That's who I am, to the core. But I've come to the realization that I struggle with receiving. And I didn't realize that until like now the Lord has me on this faith journey. And here I am all the way on the other side of the country, have driven all the way out to California. And the Lord has literally placed angels in my path to be a blessing to me on this journey. And I struggle with receiving. And I don't necessarily think it's a pride thing, maybe a little bit. But for me, it's more so like I don't want to feel like I'm being a burden to someone else. I don't want to feel like I'm wearing out my welcome. And so it's extremely hard to like receive. But God is dealing with me. He like, look, I ain't seen these people in your path. Like, look, you better get it together, girl. And I'm like, okay, God. But it's so hard, y'all. But I'm trying. Okay, there's that. I'm trying. But I'm so thankful and grateful to my closest loved ones because honestly, I hadn't had this conversation with a lot of my loved ones. Like I kind of just did what I did. And I didn't want to have certain conversations with certain people because I'm like, I already know, like, throughout this journey, I've already questioned, I've already doubted, I've already done all the things. And so, because when it's unfamiliar territory, then it's like, I want to ensure that I don't allow the opinions of other people to, like, cause me to further doubt or question what it is God is telling me to do. And so now I'm starting to have conversations with certain loved ones, and I love them so much because most of them are just kind of like, yeah, they kind of concerned and scared. So they like, long as I know you good and you safe, then okay. I'm like, girl, just do what you do, okay? So it's kind of that. But then there are those times when I'm having a conversation and there's this awkward silence. And I know it's because in their head, they're like, this girl is crazy. Like, she done lost her mind. And I would probably say the same thing. Like, it's one of those things where you have to actually experience it. You have to go through it, and you won't understand it unless you go through it. And so if I wasn't in it and wasn't experiencing it, and somebody else in my family came to me and was like, oh, God said this, that, and the third, then I'll probably think they crazy too. So I can appreciate, the love that my family has for me to just not like to just hold back those thoughts and just try to be supportive. Like, I really appreciate that. And now looking back, I realized that because when I was in that stage where I was questioning and doubting because I wasn't really sure I was hearing clearly, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if that's what I want to do because of course it's like it don't make sense, and I was just uncertain. And so I was reaching out to people for help. And now I understand why God wouldn't allow other people to help me. Now I understand why some people who I reached out to, I didn't even get a response from. And God was like intentional about that. Because there are certain people and people whom I hold to a very high regard, even people that are very like spiritually mature in leadership roles and all that. Even for those, not everybody is going to understand or go about this thing. Like, not everybody has literally truly walked out this faith journey the way in which I am. And so I think that God knew that, like, okay, I'm not going to let these people help you. I'm not going to let certain people respond or even see the message where you're reaching out trying to get help, because God didn't want anybody else to interfere. God didn't want someone to say something that would cause me to not be obedient. And now I understand, because it's like, now as I'm already out here and I'm doing what the Lord is telling me to do, now I'm starting to see that, like, okay, some people are like really like, yeah. So it's kind of like God knew. He knew what he was doing. And so he wanted me to be obedient. And although there are times when this journey gets extremely uncomfortable and I'm ready to get back in my car and go back home to Georgia, it's just like, no, I didn't come all this way for nothing. I didn't come all this way to not see it through. So, and I believe wholeheartedly that there is a major blessing on the other side of my obedience. And I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to hang in there. I'm going to keep going. I didn't come this far to just turn back. Like, no, I didn't do that. So I don't know if anybody else out there is on a similar journey, but I just want to encourage you guys and one of my prayers has been like, for one, you have to be in this place where you have to be fully consecrated to God to know what you're doing. And being fully consecrated to God means I am fasting, I'm praying, I am seeking clarity, I am seeking His interpretation. And the Lord is steadily sending me words and revelation, but in His timing. When it comes to certain things, you got to know what questions to ask. You got to know. And there's certain things He's still not going to tell you because it's still going to be uncomfortable because He wants you to trust Him. That's what faith is all about. That's what the faith journey is about. And so there's some answers I don't have. Like some people like, oh, well, how long you going to be out there? I don't know. God didn't tell me that. God hasn't said it. But guess what? There's certain things He have told me. There's certain revelation that He's given me right now today, where it's like basically confirmation that I'm in the right place and I'm doing the right thing, and to continue to do it because God placed me here where I'm at because there are people who need my testimony. And in the few days that I have been here, there are people that I've shared my testimony with. I've given people my books. There's another event coming up this Saturday, a women's empowerment event. I'm sure that there I'll meet new people. I'll be able to share my testimony with them. There are specific people. What I do know is that there's people that I am specifically assigned to. My voice, my story, my testimony. There are people that are assigned to me. And I believe that that's part of this journey that God has me on. If I'm in a place where God is telling me to be, then I'm in alignment. I'm right where He needs me to be so that the people who He has that needs what it is that I have, what it is that He's put on the inside of me, they can receive it. If I'm not in the right place, then how are they going to receive it? So if I take the advice from other people and just say, okay, let me just not do what it is I'm doing and go back home, go back to what's familiar, go back to what makes sense to other people, then I'm not where God wants me to be. Like I've been living life my way for all of my life for 40 years, 4 decades. That ain't worked out for me. So why not try God's way? So like I just, my prayer has been that that God speaks to and gives clarity to other people because I know that there are going to be people that are genuinely concerned. So I've been praying and asking God, no, give them revelation, give them clarity so that they can see what it is and let me not, because, when it comes to certain people, I respect people's opinion. I respect, certain people in my life. I trust them, I love them, and I respect them. But at the same time, I don't want to allow someone else who's not where I'm at. I know where I'm at spiritually. I know that I am seeking God. I know that I am me and God are like this. I know what I'm hearing from God. I'm hearing from Him consistently. And it's not to say that other people don't hear from God, but you may hear from God when it comes to you and your life, not necessarily my life. So it's I'm praying and asking God, give them revelation, give them clarity. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't sought God about me specifically and God said, oh, this XYZ, then no, I don't. Now, if somebody come to me and say, hey, I went to God on your behalf. I went to God about you. I interceded and this is what God says. Then I'll pray about it. But my prayer has been, God, don't allow me to receive feedback from people or feedback that is not in alignment with your will for my life, because I don't want to risk someone telling me to do something or not do something, and then now I'm being disobedient to you. Now I'm not following through with what it is that you have told me to do. So, and I know people that don't understand, oh, well, how you know? Trust me when I say, I got notebooks for days. I've been talking to God, I got notebooks for days, y'all, this is just one of them. This ain't even half, this just one notebook. I got months worth of notes and journaling where I'm having conversations with God. I have pages of notes in my phone, both of my phones, where I'm talking to God, where He's giving me signs. I'm seeing this, that, and I'm documenting everything. So trust and believe, as I'm throughout this journey, trust and believe, I'm going to be able to go back and say, this is what I said, this is what I questioned, this is what I prayed and asked God for, this is what He said to me, this is what He communicated to me. Trust and believe. It's going to all make sense in the end. It's just not making sense right now. And so that's the update I have for you guys. I hope and pray that if this video reached your timeline, it reached you in great spirits and in great health. My name is Karessa. I love you guys, and I'll be back soon with another update.